Good evening and welcome to A Celtic State of Mind. It's the live matchday preview. It's Celtic against Dundee. It's the second time, end of an era, the second era of Martin O'Neill's tenure, coming to an end as confirmed by the man himself, and then just in recent minutes, confirmed by the club that our new manager, Wilfried Nancy, has now put pen to paper and is confirmed as our new manager. So exciting times, but we do have match day business to conduct tonight. I'm Chris McAway, I'm in the hot seat with you here for the pre-match, half-time and full-time, and I am going to be joined by who is joining me as we speak. Kevin, how are you?
I'm very well, Chris. Thank you. I've just had an absolute mare because I've completely messed up my time, and I thought I had an extra 15 minutes before we started for some reason. So I apologise for leaving you in the lurch for the first 30 seconds or so, but
That's
we're
all
here.
right.
It's all
That's all
good.
right. No, I listen. You're doing the commenters more of a favour than me. They'll be delighted that they don't have to listen to me for the full night. But good to have you. I was just saying, Kevin, we have confirmed our new manager, Wilfried Nancy, just in the last just some minutes prior to going live. So we do have the manager. He will be in place and starting work as of tomorrow. I'll read out kind of the formal announcement from Celtic initially, and then we can crack onto the teams and the lineup for tonight for Martin O'Neill's last game and his second stint, at least in terms of the role as manager. So, as I said, Celtic have confirmed the appointment of Wilfried Nancy as the club's new manager. He arrives as the Frenchman arrives as new Celtic manager on a 2.5-year deal. He replaces, obviously, former manager Brendan Rodgers and interim Martin O'Neill. We have been in pursuit of the former Columbus Crew manager, and his appointment has been confirmed ahead of tonight's match. Speaking to the official website, Nancy did express his honour at being appointed new Celtic manager, but he also paid homage to Martin O'Neill. In his own words, he said, "I am so happy to be named Celtic manager. It is a massive honour for myself and my family. Before I say anything else, I want to do one thing. I want to thank the great Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney for all they have done in recent weeks with the team. The job they have done has been fantastic. These guys have given so much to the club across many years, and I know our fans like me all recognise the brilliant job they have done during this recent period. They have my total respect and my total gratitude. I hope to meet them both very soon and thank them personally. It's now it's up to me to carry on this great work and carry our great club forward, and I can't wait to get going and become part of such a brilliant institution. Celtic is one of the world's proper football clubs, real atmosphere and heart and soul, real high standards and real demands, which I am ready for. I know the history, I know the values of Celtic, I know what is expected of me on this journey. I know what Celtic means to so many people, and my number one aim will be simple: to give our fans a strong, exciting, attacking, winning football team they can be so proud of. I look forward to seeing all of our fans very soon, and I hope we can enjoy some great moments together. So, Kevin, there you have it. We have the new man in place. What's your initial reaction to the appointment?
I'm excited by it, Chris. I've got to say. Obviously, having the nightmare that I've had in terms of timing, I had totally missed that announcement as well. So when you've just mentioned it there, I've had the wee butterflies going in the stomach type moment because it's the start of a new era. We've heard a lot of good things about Wilfried Nancy, about the way that he likes his teams to play football. From what you've just read out in the statement, he said a lot of good things, a lot of positive things you want to hear. And I'm hoping it's not just a playing to the crowd type thing with what you said, and it's all genuine. But he's done the right thing there of recognising the work that O'Neill and Maloney and the rest of the coaching team have done in the last month or so to stabilise things and put us back in a position where over the next couple of games we could potentially go back top of the league, which by when Brendan left was not something we would have thought as a reality probably at this time. He's obviously again recognised how big of a club we are, and I'll trust that's a genuine comment because again from what we've seen of him and the things he's kind of built his reputation on in the US is being an honest and passionate guy, kind of loyal to his clubs So I'm excited by that. And again, the football that he wants his teams to play, the football that he's got his teams to play at other levels, has always seemingly been quite attacking. That's what Celtic's built on. We are an attacking, exciting football club, and if he can bring that to us and then bring us success as well, then bring it on. But yeah, right now, the initial emotion I think is one of excitement, and I'm looking forward to today's game, hoping it's a great send off for Martin and Sean. And then we have the weekend to look forward to, the big game against Hearts and brother Wilfred's first game in charge.
I think the brother Wilfred thing is definitely going to stick. I want to get some reaction from the comments before we go into tonight's match, and I do want to make sure that we give Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, and his entire team the focus that they deserve, given that this will be their last appearance in what has been a very, very impressive interim period. I'm also going to bring Liam Carrigan into the stage as well. Let me just because if I don't do this, Paul John will moan at me, but he always likes the orientation to be just like that. So there we go. We've got ourselves spaced and fixed. Honestly, the man can't walk past a bundle of wires without trying to fix it. He's got that in his locker. Paul John, if anyone's wondering where he is tonight, he is hosting one of our former captains tonight at Barras Art and Design in Scott Brown. So a lot of our regular viewers will undoubtedly be attending that, and hope everyone has a cracking night. And I hope everyone gets to see the football as well. It'd be nice if they could do something, not to take the folks away from Brunei, but they can actually see it. Liam, welcome to the channel. We've just been getting Kevin's thoughts on the new appointment, our new manager, Wilfred Nancy, in place. It's been confirmed by the club, 2.5-year deal. I'm just going to bring in some comments to get the initial reaction, and then we'll get your thoughts, sir. So let me see when people are reacting in the comments. So Catlaw, I'll bring you in first. Hopefully he's been following closely and has a handle on what's required. I mean, I think you can do a lot of research on Celtic and what it means to be a manager or even a player here, but I don't think you really fully understand until you get in the door. So, but I think the one good thing is that he'll have the chance to talk to, as he said himself in his statement, he'll talk to Martin O'Neill, he'll talk to Sean Maloney. If anyone can give him a sense of expectation, it'll be those guys. Brendan McCarthy has come in to say, hail, hail, boys, come on the Celtic, God bless our Martin. Yep, we are going to talk a lot about Martin O'Neill tonight, I'm sure. Ramiro comes in to say, excited to see what Nancy can do. Yeah, I think you have to. Paddy, who never fails. Chris hosting tonight, something's bound to go wrong. Well, it nearly did because the guys turned up a wee bit late, but they got here in the end. So it'll be a shared responsibility.
Jerry Taylor.
Yes, it's always Jerry Taylor. I'm going to give Jerry a shout out in a moment as well for something slightly different, but we'll just get a few of these comments in. Chris, Kevin, and all you other beautiful Celtic people, that's you that are referring to there, Liam. People, hail, hail. And just Chris now, welcome Nancy to Martin O'Neill, 1,000 thank yous wouldn't be enough. Yeah, it's so much to go. And Kev, this came up when you joined. Could have shown your barn. It's a hairbrush, lad. we're getting it. We're getting it tonight. Look, do you know what? Tonight should be.
We deserve it though, Chris. Tonight we deserve it.
We do. I think. Look, tonight should be a feel-good night. We've got a new manager in place, and we're going to say goodbye. Hopefully, with a good performance to our, and our interim manager, our legendary interim manager, legendary for more reasons than we can probably mention. Liam, if I could just get your initial reaction to the new manager appointment, and then we'll crack on with tonight's game.
Right. Bit of background here. I have literally out of my bed about 2 minutes before I logged in. So,
we're getting your absolute reaction then.
Yes, I literally just before I switched on the computer, I looked at my phone and I saw Nancy 2.5 deal. I thought, all right, here we go. Yeah, I'm just glad it's over the line. I'm glad it's over the line. I think it might have been better to announce it tomorrow to let Martin O'Neill have his night tonight, but. Then again, we've got a very, very big game coming up at the weekend after tonight. So I think just get it done, get it announced. I don't know if they're going to make any kind of formal introduction at the stadium tonight or whatever. But I hopefully it's the start of great things. I think the guy's a very capable manager. I like his approach, his style of play, but hopefully he doesn't have that stubbornness, as in, I've got one way to play and that's it. I'm hoping he's going to be able to adapt his own style as well to the way Celtic need to play. So yeah, fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
Yeah, great point. Something that was emphasised by Big Yogi on today's bulletin as well. You know, looking for a manager to show that adaptability and that flexibility, and not be afraid to change things up and mix things up. And as we've seen with Martin O'Neill coming in, you know, just not even applying major surgery, but just small tweaks, you know, can make a huge difference. And what a run of form he's had the team on now. We do want to touch on Martin O'Neill tonight. You know, Kevin, as you know, his last game, he's been asked about it in almost every press conference. I think that'll probably be the biggest relief to him, is that he won't be asked, you know, is this going to be the last game? Is this going to be the last game? He himself confirmed that 24 hours ago. It's now been confirmed officially by the club that we have the new man in place. But tonight is a night, as Liam rightly said, to focus on the job that this man, and you know, listen, we include Sean Maloney and include Mark Fotheringham and all the team that he's had behind him. But really, the Martin O'Neill effect has been it's been a real pleasure and a privilege to watch. For me, it's you know, I always go back to his quote in the book where he talks about in his first stint restoring the pride and passion to the football club after what was a very challenging period. I think he's done it again, Kevin. I think he's done it again through just bringing back that sense of belief, having the team playing with, you know, what looks like renewed confidence, and ultimately he's getting results. I mean, what have you thought of his tenure since he's coming back? And would you have liked to have seen him stay on for a bit longer?
Well, first of all, I think he's had more final games this time around than Sinatra had comebacks. You know, it's been every week he's been asked the question, and every time he's been saying it's been the next game will be the last one, and it never is. And I kind of hope that would go on for a wee bit longer, if I'm being honest with you, because well, we did the game against Falkirk in his first one back, and that was quite an emotional night, to be fair, because he's St. Martin O'Neill. Like, he is the blessed St. Martin. The things he's done for this football club over both tenures, I think, have just been phenomenal. You know, 20 odd years ago when he stood on the steps at Celtic Park, and he's given that famous speech, you know, I will do everything in my power to bring some success to this football club. Sorry, pardon my language. Boy, did he do that. I almost let one slip there. Sure. Boy, did he do that. Like, it was, he's the man that's heralded this period of unprecedented success and domination that's never been seen before in Scottish football. Even a financially doped up Rangers couldn't do what we've managed to do. And it's not all because of, but it's largely in part due to what O'Neill did the first time around. He got legendary status after that. Coming back, he's just enhanced that. He's come in and done, I think, what very few people could have done at the time when he has, because we were a club that I don't think I'm using too much of a hyperbole or whatever with, but I think we were a bit of a broken club when he came in. Like,
yeah.
There's all the dramas in the boardroom which should not be forgotten about even now. You know, that's still a show that we need to sort out. So there's all that. There's Brendan Rodgers. He's lost a lot of his good favour, I think, that he had with the fans from coming back, and he just kind of taken us to a low that we hadn't experienced for a while. And it was going to take a very strong character, a big man, to come in and lift us back up. And O'Neill's been that man. You know, there's very few guys of his charisma in the game that could have done it. And he's done it by taking us back kind of to basics a little bit. He's instilled confidence in players. He's got them believing in themselves again. And he's just simplified the football that we were playing, because we totally were overthinking and overplaying things under Rodgers. He's just made it a really simple game. He's made it really enjoyable to watch again. And I will be a little bit emotional probably as the game goes on, and I'll be sad when the final whistle blows, and that will be the end of his last game, because he has really lifted things at the club, and he's helped give us a bit of pride back in the club, and belief that we're going to have another successful season. And if we do, again, it's largely down to him and the work that he's done over the last month. But you're right as well, it's not just him. It's Maloney, it's Fotheringham, it's Stephen McManus as well. All those guys in the background deserve equal praise for the work that they've done. So like you say, yeah, it'll be sad to see them go. I would probably have liked to see them stay on through the next run of games, because they're massive games. Hearts at the weekend, it's a potentially, you know, we win that, we go back top of the league. There's Roma, which is a massive game in Europe. We've got a cup final We've got a game against Rangers coming up at the beginning of next month. So there's a baptism of fire for Wilfred Nancy coming in, and I feel maybe O'Neill could have potentially been a safer pair of hands to guide us through that. But, that's not going to happen. I'm all in on Nancy now that he'll have the job. And to Martin O'Neill, it's just a most heartfelt thank you very much for kind of giving us back our football club again and giving us something to believe in for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Good words. It's interesting that there's I had a very similar view to you about, and I'm going to try and make sure I pronounce his name correctly. A couple of people in the comments have pointed it out. I think the actual pronunciation is Wilfried Nancy. I think that is the pronunciation, but I believe it can be a little bit flexible with it, according to AI anyway. But there was an interesting point made about the new manager coming in. A lot of people saying, should we have left Martin O'Neill in place, to get us through what is going to be undoubtedly difficult fixtures? But the counter to that, which I thought was quite interesting and probably quite apt, is the fact that we're not appointing a manager to then cover him cotton wool and save him from the difficult games. We're bringing in this manager because hopefully the club feel that he is capable of actually navigating the difficult fixtures and actually taking the club to the top of the league. Building progress in Europe and starting to reassert some domestic dominance. So I think we have to give the new manager the benefit of the doubt in these upcoming fixtures. But before that happens, we do have a game tonight. It is against Dundee. I'm going to bring the lineup and then get Liam's thoughts on the starting lineup. And it is an unchanged starting lineup from our previous match, Liam. So again, we go with Schmeichel in goal. Nearly said Peter Schmeichel there, if only. But Kasper Schmeichel in goal. Colby Donovan continues at right back, continuing his introduction and progression in the first team. The trusted centre-back pairing, which features Trusty, no less, Trusty and Scales. And Sirachi again starts at left back in place of Kieran Tierney, who is on the bench. We then have our captain, Callum McGregor, Rio Hatate and Arne Engels. Hatate and Engels in particular seem to be having a bit of a career renaissance. It'll be interesting to see how that continues to progress under the new manager. And again, another slightly forgotten man, Yang, who has been impressing since returning. And he plays on the left, with Luke McCowan seemingly finding or solidifying his place on the right, which has been great for him, and he's done very, very well in the last couple of appearances. And up top, we have, I think, is our de facto number one striker, and Dyson Maeda. It'd be interesting to see his reaction to the new manager, and could that, in fact, lead to him perhaps extending his stay. On the bench, you'll have to bear with me because it's quite small on my screen, but we have Vimy Sinisalo, Benji Negrin, Balikwisha, Tonekte, Kenny, Bernardo, Murray, Ralston and Tierney. Maybe conspicuous by his absence, we don't have Ian Atchell on the bench, so Kenny is certainly the second choice or replacement striker for Maeda. Liam, any thoughts on the lineup? Is Martin O'Neill right to continue with the lineup and the selection it's done so well in the last couple of games?
Yeah, I think first half at the weekend we were great. Maybe dropped off a bit second half with that dodgy penalty, but I think we got the job done at the weekend. We can get the job done tonight, and it's a good system. I think like you say, players like Yang, players like Engels, players like Hatate have all started to kind of find their feet again, and that is really good to see. That's really good to see. So I hope that it does lead to it gives the new manager, who I'm sure is going to be watching tonight, something to think about. And that's the thing for all these players now. They had to do an audition of sorts a month ago when Martin O'Neill came in, and they've got to do it again now. So it's all about going out and putting out your best possible performance tonight. And then if you're called upon from the bench, likewise. Everybody's got a part to play tonight, and to stake a claim for what is the beginning of a new era.
It is, yes, the Wilfried Nancy era indeed. Let's just talking about our opposition a little bit. We'll look at some of the head-to-head stats. So Dundee are currently sitting in 9th place. I think they've got 12 points compared to our 29. They've scored 12 goals this season compared to our 23, and I think we've all said that that's not anywhere close to our top form So we are coming into this hopefully from a much stronger position. And we've won 21 of our last 23 home games against Dundee. I think the last time we had a 2-0 league defeat actually was in May 2001. And who was the manager? One Martin O'Neill. So we're hoping that, of all the nostalgia, that's not one that comes back to when it comes back to bite us. Kev, it's interesting some of the decisions that we've seen Martin O'Neill make in terms of the team selection. Moving players like McCowan out to right. We always felt and knew that he played there for Dundee previously and was capable of playing there. So it's interesting that Martin O'Neill seems to have moved him into that position. He's kind of thriving with it. And I think what we've started to see in the last few games, maybe not throughout a full 90-minute period, but certainly in fits and starts, we've seen that him and Donovan seem to be building up a pretty decent partnership down that side. We've seen that he's been able to influence, the goal scoring opportunities. Great ball over the top for Hatate to play an assist. I think, in one of our prior games, which was great. It worked in Europe, which was good as well. So it's been nice to see him. And then on the other side, Yang, a man who's come in from the cold, hasn't really at any point in his Celtic career been able to nail down a starting position and play week on week. And consistently shows quality. But he's another one that seems to be thriving under the O'Neill regime. What have you made of those changes in particular? Because the wings is an area that was a real concern during the recruitment window. And now actually two of our first choice signings, who are both wingers, find themselves on the bench for players who were already at the club.
Yeah, I think that's probably just Martin O'Neill in a nutshell. He's looked at he's taken these few games to assess the players, and because I think he did say when he came in he hadn't watched so many games recently, so he wasn't quite up to speed with everyone's strengths and capabilities, and he'd kind of gone with largely Rodgers' team for the first few games. He's just taken his time, he's assessed everyone, and he's done the Martin O'Neill thing of getting the best out of players. I think with Yang, I'll be his harshest critic on Acsom. I've said some things about him that I might live to regret as time goes on if he continues his recent form, because he's looked a different player. He's looked more like the Yang that we had right at the very beginning, where he came with a bit of confidence as being a new player and trying to prove his worth, and then it didn't quite work for him and he completely drifted away. O'Neill's done that thing that I was saying at the beginning. He's probably just had a word in his ear, told him, I think you're a good player. I think if Martin O'Neill tells you that you're a good player, you'll believe it.
You believe it, yeah.
He's got that way about him. And he's taken that on board. He's another one who's kind of simplified his game. He's not trying to do anything fancy when he gets the ball. I think you've noticed he's trying to be a bit more direct. And I think that's what you want from a winger. It's just get the ball, try and take your man on and get it in the middle. He's not trying to do anything fancy with it. And once you start to get the basics right like that, I think it builds your confidence, which again is massive for wingers. And he's definitely one that's improved a lot in the last month or so. And McCowan, again, on the other side, I think he's in there for his work rate more than anything, because I think McCowan will put in a shift for you. And we expect, traditionally, I think, both of our wingers to be quite wide and hug the touchlines and be the Celtic winger. Like we've had from Tenekti, who's come in and he looks direct, but he's lacked an end product.
Yeah.
McCowan's not going to give us that level of directness. He's not got that pace. He's not going to try and take players on, but he's going to work hard for the team. He's got a better end product, I think. I think he's got a better final ball. He's more willing to take a shot from outside the box. And just his tenacity and the way that he is, he'll make things happen, like he did in the very first game against St Mirren, where he scores the winning goal that saved an otherwise terrible game. So O'Neill's done it. He's put them in. He's probably, like I said, just told them, keep the game really simple. This is what you're good at. If you can go and do that, you'll have a good game. And it's working. And at the back, it seems to be the same with Colby Donovan, who's a player that I really like. I rate him a lot. Yeah. And he's just come in and he's been really, really solid. He was beforehand anyway under Brendan, so it's not totally just an O'Neill thing there, but he's definitely, for me, put himself ahead of the gaffer's favourite, Tony Ralston. He's now my first choice right back with Johnson being out. I think he's a player for the future. There's still some things that he needs to improve in his game, which will come with experience, but otherwise a really good prospect we've got there.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just one thing, Kev, just as we mentioned, Luke McCowan there, you talk about putting in a shift. As someone who was, born and bred a Celtic fan, as McCowan was, imagine getting the opportunity to play for Martin O'Neill, because he must have, I'm trying to think he's old enough to remember Martin O'Neill's first stint. I think he maybe just about is. But imagine getting the opportunity to play for a legendary manager. I mean, if he's not busting a gut in training, I don't know, what would make you, So that he's absolutely living the dream at the moment.
I said it there about Yang, that it's probably O'Neill's had a word in his ear. And so, O'Neill has a word in your ear, you can't help but believe it. But that's Yang, who's a South Korean who has no idea who Martin O'Neill is until a month ago. Yeah. You say, if you're Luke McCowan and Martin O'Neill comes to you, pulls you aside, has a little word in your ear, you grow 10 feet tall and you run through a brick wall for him.
Absolutely. A couple of wee comments, then I want to get Liam's thoughts on another player who seems to be having a bit of a resurgence as well. But a familiar voice here, Laura Bradburn, coming in and saying, "Don't worry, Kev, I backed Laxalt and wrote off my era. You're all good, bro." So yes, good to see you.
Thanks, I appreciate that, Laura.
Thanks for coming in, Laura. Awesome, good to see you. Liam, another player that seems to be showing us again what he can do, and has certainly thrived under O'Neill, is Dyson Maeda. Moved into that central centre forward position. He's looking dangerous in front of goal. But what we're seeing again is and actually a combination at times between him and Rio Hatate, where they are terrorising goalkeepers. They're terrorising defences and they're terrorising goalkeepers. And even when they're not the ones scoring, they're forcing the keeper and the defenders into making mistakes, which are then leading to good chances and more often than not goals. How pleasing is that? And are you starting to see elements of the Dyson Maeda you recognise again?
Yeah. He's definitely coming back to his best, and it's. I really hope. I mean, I know it's unlikely, but I really hope that Wilfred Nancy is at least going to sit him down, have the conversation, and say, "Look, you could be part of this next phase." I don't know how much of Dyson's desire to move on is predicated by the fact that he wants to play in England, and how much of it is predicated by the fact that he'd done all he felt that he could do at Celtic. So that if it's the latter, then there is a chance that the new manager could sell him on a vision that he's got to take Celtic forward. And give the boy a pay rise as well, for God's sake. He's only on 18 grand a week.
That's about half our wage, William, so that's okay. That's about half our wage for doing that. Not at all. We don't actually get paid for that, so I should caveat that. Scrap that one, get that one cut. No, so I can see that the lights are on at Paradise. I can see that it looks like there's a pretty decent crowd there from what I can see. It's still a few minutes before kick-off time. So what I want to do, guys, is get a prediction. And I do want to actually give a big shout-out to Liam, because not many people will realise the time that Liam has kindly got up to support tonight and help me out as host. So, both Kev and Liam is a top effort from you both, and I do appreciate it. So, brilliant effort, guys. Right, Liam, I'll stick with you for the moment. I'll get your prediction first. What are you expecting to see tonight, and what do you think the scoreline is going to be for Martin O'Neill's final match as Celtic manager?
Right, what am I expecting to see? Hopefully a very large coffee in the next couple of minutes. But beyond that, I think we're going to score a few tonight. I think Martin O'Neill, one of the signatures of his reign at Celtic, both before and now, has been big scoring wins at Celtic Park. I'm going to go for a 4-0.
4-0. I love the enthusiasm. Yeah, I would like it to be a party night tonight. Kev, same question.
Same answer. I think we've seen it in O'Neill's teams, like as Liam said, both times around. There's been a lot of high-scoring games at Celtic Park. This one's going to be highly charged as well. Loads of emotion in there. Everyone will be up for it, and I would like to. I'm going 4-0 as well. Let's just do it and send O'Neill off in style.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to be the voice of reason, because I've seen what happens when I predict 4 or 5 victories. So I'm going to stay conservative. I'm going to stay. I was going to stay conservative there. Let's just get that one cut. Yeah, right. Almost threw up in my mouth a little bit when I said that. No, I am going to stay reserved at the moment, and I'll go for a 2-0 victory, but a good, comfortable victory with a lot of skill, and I'm hoping that we give Martin O'Neill a great send-off. With that said, first half coming up. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Hope everyone at Burrows Up Design gets a chance to see the first half as well, and you enjoy Scott Brown's company. One last wee shout out before we go live, and that is to talk or to mention Acsom's own Jerry Taylor. A lot of people saying, "Where is Jerry? When is Jerry coming back?" Well, the reason Jerry's not been on Acsom is because he's been very busy doing Christmas Panto as a season for it. It was a great contract for him. He's at Cumbernauld Theatre by Lantern House, and he's absolutely smashing it. I was fortunate enough to take the family to go see him. It's in a play called Baltic, which is a Scottish version of Frozen and kind of fairy tale. And honestly, if you get the opportunity to get tickets to go see it, it is one of the. In fact, I'm going to go out and allow and say it's the best pantomime I've ever seen in my life, and it is fantastic. It's written, directed, and he plays a good role in it as well, does Jerry, along with a very, very talented cast of all different ages. So if you're looking for something to do this Christmas, please get yourself down to Cumbernauld and see the show, and the theatre could do with the support as well, and it's a fantastic venue. So Jerry, keep breaking a leg, mate. Keep smashing it. You're doing brilliant. All that's left for me to say is match is about to kick off. Let's do this one for Martin. Saint Martin before Brother Wilfred indeed comes in and takes over. Kev, thank you. Liam, top effort, mate. You go and get that coffee and enjoy the first half, and we'll see you both back here at half-time. Thank you, everyone, for following A Celtic State of Mind.
Excellent. Cheers, Chris.